What is up, NFC East football fans, and welcome into another edition of the NFC East Roundtable powered by BetUS. Week 7 is in the books, and tonight we turn the page to Week 8 as we preview all 4 of the games within the NFC East this upcoming weekend. Without further ado, let's bring in the fellas, Al, KB, J Tuck, and Rio. Got a full slate this weekend, boys. No bye week. I don't know why that happened, where they started a couple of byes for some teams. Now, all of a sudden this week, there's no byes at all. So all the teams are back and ready to get after it, including the Dallas Cowboys, who are coming off of their bye. They'll be playing on Sunday Night Football. We'll touch on that game in just a bit here. We're going to start. Where should we start, fellas? Let's start at the 1 p.m. window with probably the best game at 1 o'clock this upcoming afternoon on Sunday. We have the Philadelphia Eagles coming off of that dominant W over the New York Giants. They're going to be taking on the Cincinnati Bengals. The Bengals are a 2-point favorite right now on BetUS to win this game. Eagles on the road. This is a huge game for both teams. The Eagles are looking, or the Bengals rather, looking to get back to 500. We know how poorly they started. They've been stacking a couple of wins together, but they haven't looked all that impressive. The Eagles are looking to prove that again this upcoming weekend. Speaking of the lines, by the way, all of the lines are up currently on BetUS for Week 8. If you want to get in on it, you can get a 150% sign-up bonus up to $2,000 on your first deposit using the promo code YouTube150 over on BetUS. That'll also get you a 125% bonus on your next 2 deposits after that. All right, let's dive into this one, fellas. I think this is one of the matchups of the weekend. KB, we'll start with you. Your Giants just played these Eagles. They're looking to have a similar type outcome this upcoming Sunday against Cincy, but could be a tough task with Joe Burrow and company. How do you see this game going down between the Eagles and Bengals?
Yeah, I got a good look at both teams beating on the Giants in back-to-back weeks. So I think this is going to be an interesting matchup. As we said in the previous show, we really don't know what the Cincinnati Bengals are. This is probably the slowest start. Like, we all agree that they've gone on to, start out slow in majority of the years with Joe Burrow. But this is probably the slowest start that they had. They didn't look like world beaters against the Giants. The Giants defense kind of held them in check, and we kind of lost it later in the game. The Eagles kind of blew us out. The Eagles are going to be without, I believe they're still going to be without Jordan Mailata. Is that correct, Al? So still without Jordan Mailata, and then also their guard that they had too. Right? Is he going to be out as well? So that's not going to be good. And on top of that, Cincinnati got back their 2 defensive line players in B.J. Hill, and I can't remember the other one that came back against the Giants and absolutely destroyed us. So I don't know if that is going to play a part in it. It probably will, being with the addition of 2 defensive line players and the subtraction of 2 starting offensive linemen. You got Joe Burrow, who has been playing some really good football, kind of quietly playing really good football. Jamar Chase is one of the NFL leaders in receiving yards right now. And so, they're starting to get the ball rolling. T. Higgins is back and he's healthy. So I think we're going to start seeing the good old Bengals again, the high-powered offense, and maybe start to play some defense. Last time we seen the Bengals put up a good defensive performance against the Giants, and watching them on film, they looked like they were in good communication in the back end and really forcing a lot of pressure with Trey Hendrickson and B.J. Hill and guys like that on the front end. So I think this is gonna be a close game. What's the favorite again, Z-Bot?
Bengals are a 2-point favorite.
Oh man. Bengals are a 2-point favorite. I think
I'm in this game. If I was Al, I'd be pissed.
I mean, the Bengals home. It's fine.
Yeah.
That's how I usually go.
I'm gonna take the Bengals here. I think this is gonna be a very close win. I think this is gonna be a really good game. I think both of these teams, offensively and defensively, are gonna take shots at each other, because it's not like the Eagles defense is pretty damn good. The Bengals defense, although it was 31st ranked before facing the Giants, they look like they got their stuff together versus the Giants, so maybe they can get some momentum going into this game versus the Eagles. I'm going to take the Bengals here. I'm going to take a good, I'm going to say like 27-24 Bengals.
Jay Tuck, talk to me. How does it go down between the Eagles and the Bengals?
Yeah, this is almost like a mirror match, right? You look at two teams with offensive weapons, but defensively they really haven't put together, and they've been up and down. So, you really don't know who is who. I would say the same thing about the Bengals, right? They look great versus the Ravens, but look versus the Browns. So it's like, who are they really? And I think this is going to be the game for both teams to kind of find out their identity. You mentioned Joe Burrow, T. Higgins, Hendricks, those guys that we kind of know. So, overall, I think the Bengals are at home, but foolish of me, I just think that Philly is overall better team. I think defensively, if they can lock in, Alice mentioned, Quinyon Mitchell's playing well. If they can get pressure on Joe Burrow, especially with the injuries, but they have at their offensive line as well, I think I'm going to slide towards Philadelphia getting the upset. So if you're going to take the betting odds, I would take them as the +2 on this. But I think I got Philly winning this game.
It's interesting. It doesn't feel like it the way you hear about Philly and the way I feel like people talk about them, but they win this game. They're 5-2, right at the top of the league. So, Rio, you're looking at this game. Philly has an opportunity to be right back at the top of things here, but Cincinnati, they're trying to keep their season from going south. They've been doing a good job of it as of late. Do you think they can continue it, or is this going to be Philly's afternoon on Sunday?
Listen, I don't care what Vegas says or prognosticators. If Philly winning ain't no upset. Philly got a better roster than the Cincinnati Bengals. The Bengals have a better quarterback, but what do we talk about the 3-win Bengals? Like, I know they're going to get their life together and their schedule softens up. I can still see this being a 10-win playoff team because Joe Burrow's playing MVP football despite the fact that his defense is ass. But the Eagles should feel like they're the favorites in the game, even in Cincinnati. So they have a better defense than the Cincinnati Bengals. Yeah, the Bengals defense is starting to show some life, but I'm going with Cincy. I'm going to eat some Frosted Flakes in the morning, LSU Tigers, who they, all that. I'm going to be rooting hard because I need the Eagles to stack some L's, man. I need them to lose this one. So I'm going to be rooting hard for Joe Burrow and company. We're going to see what Quinyon Mitchell and Darius Slay made of because they got their work cut out for them because it ain't just Jamar Chase and T. Higgins that are daunting. This dude, Yoshivas, he's a problem out there as well. They got multiple Mike Gesicki at tight end, and their little running backs aren't too shabby. You can laugh at Chase Brown and Zach Moss on paper. They get busy a little bit over there for Cincinnati, and the way that they mix it up because the passing attack is what they want to do. Hey, man, don't take them lightly. But I don't feel like it's an upset by any means if Philadelphia wins. But I'm going Cincinnati. Cincinnati wins the shootout over the Philadelphia Eagles.
Rio's saying it won't be an upset, but Al, you're the dog in this one. Will the dogs prevail? Do the Eagles get it done against the Bengals?
Absolutely. I think we do. I think Saquon is going to have another good game. Don't forget about Cooper DeJean. I'm sorry. He's been one of the best slot, rookie corners in the league. So I think we'll be fine with our 3 corners on the defensive side of the ball. But I've seen the Bengals play the Giants, and the Giants stifled them as well. It's just that the offense could get going. So I think we can do the same thing, slow them down a bit, and our offense can get going with, if it's not A.J. Brown or Saquon Barkley, we still have a Devontae Smith that can get off as well. So I think we got just too many offensive weapons that can get off, and we can put up points with the Bengals. And I think we win a close one, probably 34-31. It's going to be close. And yeah, the Eagles won this game. But I will say this, our history against the Bengals has been really strange. I think the last 2 times we played them was a tie. It's like 18-18, they're like 21-21 or something like that. And they usually beat us, to be honest. I think the last time we beat the Bengals was 2000. I think we're like,
don't tell me that.
Yeah, I think it's like 9 and 3. I'm just saying.
That is a lock.
I'm just saying, we just have these weird games with the Bengals. I don't know why.
Really looking forward to that game.
Bet US. I had to let me back up a little bit, man. Hold on.
I know. What the hell? 24 years. That's crazy. But I think this could be their best opportunity should they have not won the past 24 years because, like Rio said, there's no way that these rosters, when compared, you would consider the Eagles to be the underdog in this situation. So we'll see if they can get it done on Sunday at 1 p.m. One of the better games of the day. This game Also, one of the best games of the day. If Jaden Daniels can go, let's go from the 1 p.m. window to the 4 p.m. window, where we have the battle of the star rookie quarterbacks, we hope. Right now, the Washington Commanders are a 3-point home underdog. I'm assuming that this line is baking in the uncertainty surrounding whether or not Jaden Daniels will be playing in this game. Bears, the 3-point favorite. This has the makings of a showdown that we could be seeing throughout the future of the NFL for the next decade or so, and that's why it's such an exciting matchup. We're hoping Jaden Daniels will be able to go. If he can't, though, we saw Marcus Mariota this last week show you that if he needs to step up, he can step up. He laid the hammer down on the Carolina Panthers and their Washington Commanders W 40-7 in that game. Might not be that type of outcome this weekend, but the Commanders good enough to play with anybody, including this Bears defense. So, KB, I'll start with you. We'll assume, let's assume, Rio, where are you, before we get into it, I guess I'll ask you this. Where's your confidence level at Jaden to start on a scale of 1 to 100 here?
I think there's a bit of gamesmanship going on, but I think if he was going to be ruled out, they would not be planning to have him practice tomorrow. And the plan is for him to attempt to practice tomorrow. He's going to practice tomorrow. And I think what they're going to tell you at the podium is game time decision for Sunday. And if that's the case, that boy's about to play, man, because they can just rule him out at some point. It's Thursday.
Yeah. So let's operate with our predictions here under the assumption that Jaden Daniels can go. So with that said, KB, what's your prediction here between Caleb Williams and hopefully Jaden Daniels?
Oh man, I'm definitely looking forward to this matchup, especially if Jaden Daniels plays, of course. The Bears are starting to heat up a little bit. They scored like 36 points against the Panthers and 35 last week, I believe, something like that. Last time they played, so they're starting to heat up offensively. They kind of got off to a slow start. Caleb Williams sort of picking up the speed, and Jaden Daniels, if they go against each other, man, that's going to be a fun game to watch. Hopefully, it's going to be a shootout. Both defenses. I mean, I think I would probably say the Commanders are probably have the hot hand with defense right now. Maybe I'm wrong about that, but I'm looking forward to this one. As far as who's gonna win it, man, it's putting me on the spot now. I don't know, man.
Pick Chicago, bro. Just pick Chicago.
I don't want to. Yeah, I want to take Chicago so bad, but I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna take Chicago in this game. I'm gonna say the number 1 overall pick takes the victory versus the 2nd overall pick. And listen. How it's supposed to go. I mean, the Bears are supposed to be really good. Yep. Look at their roster, man. It's supposed to be really good. Everybody talked about Caleb Williams is probably put in the best situation a rookie quarterback has ever been put in. So I would say you kind of have to win this game. Caleb Williams wouldn't look too good, neither would the Bears organization if they lose to the 2nd overall pick and the Washington Commanders. So yeah, I'm gonna take the Bears in this one. I'm gonna say it's another high scoring game. I'm gonna keep it consistent with how the Bears been playing offensively. I'll say somewhere around like 33-26, something like that. Some craziness.
Man, I'm hoping for that type of game.
Yeah.
Jay Tuck, depends on, I guess, what you value in this one. Washington has the hot hand, but the Bears coming off the bye, so you either value maybe a bit more with the rest or coming in with the heater that the Commanders are on as of late. But they do have the injury with Jaden Daniels, so that might be a factor here as well. How do you see this one playing out on Sunday afternoon?
Yeah, just hearing Rio talk and just kind of knowing Jaden Daniels from out scouting him. The kid's a competitor. He's playing this game, y'all. It would have to be something like major for him to miss out this game, because not only is it just Commanders versus the Bears, but this is Rookie of the Year implications. This is draft implications. Like, this is that rivalry that'll probably be talked about for many years to come. So I think that he's going to play. So if he's going to play, I'm going to lead towards the Commanders. Even though the Bears defense has been playing well, especially with Jalen Johnson at corner, I think the Commanders have enough offensive weapons to kind of neutralize it, and Jaden Daniels on the ground with his legs can definitely take off and do a few different things. So I'm going to go with the Commanders to win this game versus Chicago Bears. But I don't think NFL is doing, bro. This should be the Sunday night game. What are we doing? We about to have the battle of the beatings on Sunday night.
That's what I'm saying. If only the NFL had the balls to take NFL Disney off of primetime.
Yeah, they would. Jerry have a fit, man. That would be a whole other Jerry interview I'll have to cover, man. But this should definitely be the Sunday night game.
On Roger ass.
Yeah, he would. But yeah, this is going to be a good game. But I'm going to lean towards the Commanders at home. Yeah, I'm going with Commanders.
I don't think they would flex out Niners Cowboys for a presidential speech, much less
right.
in the Bears. And that's one of those games that they're just never going to move. But man, I agree with you. I would like to see this game under the lights. It really does feel like it has that kind of hype. Al, how do you see it going down?
Well, the Bears should win. I think the Bears got the weapons. I think they beat the Commanders. Caleb Williams showed why he's the number 1 overall pick. But I think it's going to be a battle. I think it's going to be like 30-33, something like that. Maybe it comes down to like who has the ball last. Yeah, I think the Bears defense probably slowed them down a bit because the Bears got some players. I like DeAndre Swift, a former Eagle. It's Keenan Allen and those guys playing like, yeah, they should beat the Commanders. And if they beat the Commanders, the questions are going to start coming. Like, can the Commanders beat good teams? But if it's the opposite way, then Commanders are a legit team.
Man, Rhea, I'm shocked here a little bit. I thought there'd be some more love for these Commanders. I don't know where all the respect for the Bears is coming from, but I'm sure you'll tell me right now why these Commanders deserve a bit more respect. Talk to me about what's going to happen Sunday.
First things first, the league did flex it from 1 to 4:25 p.m. We're now the 4:25 p.m. kick on CBS. They're putting Nance and Robo on it. And the only reason why is because they can't dare take the amusement park off a Sunday night, and we can't move a Monday night game before week 12 because there's nobody who wants to watch Giants versus Steelers. KB doesn't want to watch that shit.
Take Monday night, please.
This should be under the bright lights because this could be the next great budding rivalry in this league. Caleb versus Jaden, number 1 versus number 2. We've seen Peyton versus Brady. We've seen Rodgers, Breeze. This is young guns with style, very stylistically different, but are must-see television quarterback. I mean, Caleb just got going in the last 2 weeks. You know, my guy been going for a minute now, but Caleb got going over the last 2. He cooked the Panthers and he cooked the Jags. So he's starting to make it a conversation. Don't tell Bears fans that Rookie of the Week is a fan vote. I think they just found out. But I'm excited for this one. I think 5 goes. 5 dealt with the same issue in college. It happened versus Mizzou. He got banged up in his ribs. There was no structural damage. They pulled him out for a little bit. He went back in the game and cooked them. There was no cartilage fracture. They haven't even called it a bruise yet. The boy is just frail bodied, man. He's just a small framed guy, but I think he's good to go. He wanted to go back in that game. It made me happy to see him two-hand like Hulk slam his helmet to the ground because they told him to go to the locker room. They told him he couldn't go back in and he lost his mind. But he was also hitting the Dougie with Ben Sinnott after he scored. He was throwing up touchdown signs. I don't think somebody with a very hurt rib are doing some of these mannerisms. I think they might have been in the trainer's office like, yeah, you don't need to go back in, brother. You go ahead and sit this one out. But I don't think it's a because we're playing against Caleb situation why he plays. I just don't think he's that hurt. I think we're trying to run up the gamesmanship like, ooh, Chicago, who are we going to play on Sunday? But archetype-wise, Marcus Mariota, it's a similar game plan. Way back when, he was kind of the blueprint of what we want Jaden Daniels to be. He's not that now, but I like our chances in this one. Chicago, they're holding opponents to 16.8 points per game this year because they're playing a bunch of ass offenses. Like, They lost a game to the Colts in which Anthony Richardson was 10 of 20 for 167, no touchdowns and 2 interceptions. And in that same game, Caleb had 350. They're a weird team. They also won a game where Caleb threw for 92 yards. So that defense is legit. But they've played one good offense this year. That's the Houston Texans. And I think our offense is hitting on different cylinders than even them right now. But I got it being less scoring than most people would imagine. I got Washington 23-21. I think Caleb is from D.C. Gonzaga High. He lived in D.C. and Maryland. So it's a homecoming game. He's bringing 250 plus friends and family to the game.
Yeah.
We're coming out with our black uniforms, and he's coming back home to get an L on Sunday. We're going to go down there and win it on the final possession, 23-21, and get to 6-2 for the first time in 16 years. And people can stop talking about us beating bad teams because the Bears are allegedly a juggernaut, even though they beat the Jags and the Panthers the last 2 weeks, and Caleb finally looked good. But Bears fans are insecure because our quarterback is frying, and because we're media darlings and coming off Hard Knocks, they wanted the same treatment the Detroit Lions got, and they ain't get it because they came out real ugly this year. We're getting a dub, and we're getting a 6-2, baby.
Oh, baby, I can't wait. Love it, Rio. Good stuff. We're going to go from that 4 p.m. game to the game you mentioned earlier, that roller coaster ride, that amusement park under the lights on Sunday Night Football. Two teams looking to get back on track desperately here. The Dallas Cowboys heading out to San Francisco, where they are a 4.5-point underdog against the banged up 49ers. The Cowboys coming off of their bye week. The Niners coming off a 3-pick performance from Brock Purdy and a double-digit loss to the reigning champion Kansas City Chiefs. This game, I know it's still the Sunday night game. People were saying they might want to see the Jaden Daniels, Caleb Williams show in place, but I don't mind this being the Sunday night game, fellas, because there's a lot on the line here. And these two teams, I don't know, it just feels like whoever loses here is in a real tough spot moving forward. Al, I'll start with you here. Sunday Night Football, who gets it done, Dallas or San Francisco?
I think San Fran is going to get it done. I think San Fran is going to take the same formula the other teams been beating the Dallas Cowboys with. Just run it. Because the Cowboys, even during the they bye week, it felt like they lost, dealing with a lot of stuff and a lot of distractions instead of just trying to get back on track. So I think they're going to deal with the same problems and the Dak and CD thing, the media getting to them. And I think San Fran, again, just going to take that same formula, run it, play action, dump it off to whoever's playing. I'm not sure what receiver is going to be out there. And they're going to beat them 24-21.
KB, who takes it? Niners, Cowboys?
I think this is a tough matchup for the Cowboys here with Shanahan's running scheme and how he does not like to shy away from running it. I know Brock Purdy had a pretty bad game against the Chiefs. Everybody was saying that he's exposed, and now this is the real Brock Purdy and 3 interceptions. But the Chiefs have been playing absolute great defense so far this season, so we'll see if that holds true. Is it Brock Purdy or the Chiefs defense? But as far as that goes, like I said, the Cowboys have had a tough time stopping the run so far this season. They've been one of the worst teams at doing it, and this is one of the best teams at running the ball. You know, think about it, no CMC, and they get this guy Jordan Mason, and he's running, he's putting up huge numbers. So I think this is a tough one for the Cowboys. Got to hope that they come out firing on all cylinders, and the Niners have a tough defense as well. So, man, I'm going to say the Niners win this one. As far as how close it'll be, I don't know. I don't know if this, I don't think the Cowboys are going to get blown out, but then again, who knows? So I'll say it's like a 24-20 game for the Niners versus the Cowboys.
Rio, how do you see this one on Sunday Night Football?
This is an interesting game. Like, there's such somber tones coming into this game. You're like watching two perennial contenders look like they're on their last legs. Like, it looks like they're both on their season deathbed. And like, it feels like the loser of this game is cooked for the rest of 2024. The Niners are a walking body bag right now. Everybody's hurt.
Oh, yeah,
I hate that Ayuk
That's a
I
good
hated
point.
that
Oh my
so
God, I
much.
forgot about that.
There are so many injuries all over the place. Brock Purdy's trying to hold down the fort by himself. They don't look like they have the same luster. While Jordan Mason gets busy, he's not Christian McCaffrey. Like, this is not San Francisco Niners football. And then Dallas, like, look at our boy Tuck. Our boy Tuck usually got that shit on. He got the I'm going through it white t-shirt on.
Yeah, bro.
And you know, he got the man on a mission white t-shirt on.
Yeah.
My boy's going through it because we don't even know who Dallas is. Are they trash? Are they still good? What do they want to do? They have no running game. It's like pass or die for them. Their defense is banged up with some of their better players with Diggs, Parsons, and it's just so much going on and off the field. I'm so glad that we don't have ownership mess anymore. I'm so mad that we're no longer. See, Dallas can't get away with it no more because Snyder's gone. Dallas could duck the smoke because we had the most inept owner in all of pro sport. Now there's an even bigger target on guys like Dave Tepper and meddlesome ass Jerry Jones. So I'm going to take the Niners 23-20, but I don't know. It just feels like two teams that don't have a shot this year and giving it one last gas to make their season relevant. I'll take the Niners by a field goal, but I don't feel comfortable either way.
Man, hey, Tuck, talk to me. What's happening on Sunday night? Are these Cowboys falling below 500? Or are they going above 500 and kickstarting it?
I ain't never seen Tuck like this.
Bro, that should be my reaction. You guys should be all right.
Well, here's the crazy part. When we went through the season schedule, way back this summer, everything that I kind of said, we were on track. The only thing I think I got wrong is I had us losing to the Browns and winning versus Saints, right? But everything else I had flipped and got right. And I had the Cowboys losing this game fully healthy. Now, I think the new caveat is without Brandon Ayuk, Deebo Samuel with the pneumonia, and you have Christian McCaffrey, I think that the Cowboys will win this game because right now I feel like they're a little bit lower than our weight class, right? So I feel like right now, if there's any opportunity for the Cowboys to beat up on the 49ers, it's going to be now because they're going to have Jordan Mason, Kittle, and a bunch of rookies out there. So I think the Cowboys win this game, but I'm not too confident even saying that, right? So how can I say, even with the injuries that the 49ers have offensively, that we can still go out there and handle business when we struggle versus Kid Blue when he had Daniel Jones and Malik Neighbors? So the Cowboys have not shown me anything to definitively say, oh yeah, we got this game. Like, we got this game because we can't run the ball and we can't stop the run. We did it versus the Giants. Okay, whoop-de-doo. But then every other week we get the ball ran down our throat. And so we know the Shanahan tree has caused us problems game after game. We haven't been able to adjust. I know Mike McCarthy's record off the bye week. So this is my last kind of faith Hail Mary that the Cowboys get this done. Hopefully DeRon Bland comes back because we're going to need to play a lot of man-to-man defense. So hopefully Coach Zim can put pressure and stop the run. So I'm going to have the Cowboys winning this game. Yeah, just because I feel like they're going to be the more talented team and they're punching probably in their weight class a little bit lower. It's just typically the games that the Cowboys like to win.
You go from Sunday night football to Monday night football.
No.
JB's New York Football Giants, what everybody wants. The Pittsburgh Steelers and the Giants under the lights. Two defense is playing well. At least the Giants defense was playing well up until last week. Steelers defense playing real well. We got the Steelers in primetime in back-to-back weeks now. The Giants coming off of that loss to the Eagles, 28-3. Uncharacteristic loss for that defense. Not what we were expecting going into that one. Thought it would be a bit closer. Not the case. And then for these Pittsburgh Steelers, they were down 15-6 at one point to the Giants on Sunday night, or the Jets rather, on Sunday Night Football last week. They won that one 37-15. And now the Steelers find themselves as a 6-point home favorite against the New York Giants on Sunday. Crazy to think that the Steelers could go, 6-2 after this game. I don't know how they do it, but they find a way to do it. So I'll start with you, Al. Will they find a way to do it again on Monday night? Steelers and Russell Wilson get the W over the Giants.
Yes, but I think the score is going to be closer than a lot of people think. I think the Giants, they try to figure out some type of offensive game plan get the ball out of Daniel Jones' hands a lot faster. Um, I think it's going to be like 20-24 or something like that. I think it's going to be a lot closer. I think the defense is going to stifle the Steelers a lot more. And then again, I think the offense is going to put up some type of points. But yeah, the Steelers get the win, but I think the score is going to be a lot closer than what a lot of people think.
Rio, how do you see it on Monday night? Steelers getting it done, Giants pulling off the upset.
The Giants play everybody tough except the Eagles past the first quarter. So, like Al said, I think it's going to be a tough, closer than it needs to be ball game. It's going to be one of those games where it's going to be hard to watch, and it shouldn't be on Monday Night Football. The Steelers have found they're able to actually throw the ball around. Russell's arm is cooked. Like the ball dies in midair. It kind of looks like Peyton's last year, where the ball had no zip, it just flowed. But at the same time, they're accurate though. And unlike Fields, he can actually throw the ball around a little. They can actually open up their playbook now. So I'm gonna take Pittsburgh in it, but I expect this to look close to how that Bengals game looked, because the Steelers' offense is less talented as the Cincinnati Bengals. George Pickens is an absolute monster. He deserves so much better than that offense over there. Like, if he ever becomes available, I would give up an arm, a leg, and more to get that type of talent, because he's different, has some of the best body control I've seen. Give me the Steelers 20-16 over the Giants, and their 16 is going to come off like a defensive touchdown and maybe like a neighbor's big play or something, but it's going to be more of the same, and Giants fans are going to be picket sign protesting to pull Daniel Jones at some point soon.
Jay Tuck, how's it going down? Who's getting the W on Monday night?
Yeah, this is going to be an easy dub for the Steelers, man. I feel like the Steelers, even because I didn't expect them to beat the Jets the way they did it, but they let Russ cook. And I just feel like, with TJ Watt going crazy, Russ out there making plays, Rio already mentioned George Pickens. I feel like it's going to be too much for the Giants. Maybe they'll scrap a little bit better than they did last week versus the Eagles, but you can't trust them with that quarterback, man. I'm sorry, Kid Blue. You just can't with Daniel Jones out there, and I feel like their defense is actually going to go out there and have a feast. So I am going with the Steelers to easily win versus the New York Giants. Pop, lock, and drop it on BetUS, man. Let's get this money.
6-point favorite on BetUS, a full touchdown. KB, talk to me. What's happening on Monday?
Yeah, I appreciate Rio and Al for the nice words, but I'm with J Tuck on this one. I've got no hope in this game. This is going to be an absolute blowout, and I see this going a lot more like the Eagles game than the Bengals game, or like I see a lot more like how the Minnesota Vikings game went in Week 1. Like that's how I see it's gonna go down. Listen, the Giants. First of all, the Steelers defensively, not a good matchup at all. I don't see the Giants doing much on offense. We're going to be without Andrew Thomas the entire season. Josh Azudu is not an NFL player. Forget about an NFL starting left tackle. He's not an NFL player. He is absolute garbage, and we still have him at left tackle because Evan Neal, the former 7th overall pick, apparently is not as good and apparently is not worth putting on the field over Josh Azudu. So we are going to see Daniel Jones being absolutely abused every game that he's in, and even with the clean pocket, he's not that good either, so it doesn't matter. The Giants' run game, it's very shaky. We love Tyrone Tracy. We like Devin Singletary. They're just not good enough to get it done. And so I don't think there's going to be enough time for Malik Neighbors. They're probably going to have to force feed him, and then when you force feed a receiver, they're going to start doubling him, tripling him, putting a lot of attention towards him, and I can see them getting shut down real quick, and especially TJ Watt out there, very good pass rushers out there. That defense has been clicking majority of the season. I just don't see the Giants putting up many points, and there are a lot of implications in this game that we talked about a little bit in the live show. Russell Wilson, I just had to look it up because I forgot the year, because it seems like Russell Wilson is supposed to be a Giant every year. That's always around the offseason talks, but he did literally meet with the Giants in this year's last offseason. He met with the Giants before signing with the Steelers, and the Giants did not want to make him the starting quarterback, so he went to the Steelers. So it's gonna be an absolute it's gonna look terrible when Russell Wilson puts 30 on our heads. And on top of that, George Pickens, every Giants fan was slamming the table for George Pickens in the draft, and the Giants picked Wan'Dale Robinson over George Pickens. So that's going to be another sort of storyline we are going to see if the Giants lose to Russell Wilson and George Pickens. And at this point, it's going to be in this game. I don't want to lose a close one. If we lose this game, of course I want to win this game, right? But if we lose this game, which I think we are going to, we have to lose it bad. Because then that is the only time management, front office, even ownership are going to say, you know what, that's it, that's enough. Things need to change. We're going to have to blow everything up. And it starts with the quarterback. I don't know if they're going to bench him. I don't really care I don't really care to see Drew Lock or Tommy DeVito. I just want to see a change at quarterback to show that they are done with Daniel Jones. And, of course, the injury clause that also takes into effect if he does get hurt, $23 million injury clause. We do not want to pay that. So I think if we lose this game bad, they'll say it's enough with Daniel Jones and we can start to move on to a new era. So, but I'm not hoping for it, but I really think the Steelers are going to beat the Giants somewhere around the ballpark of 35-7, 35-10, 35-6, something around that range. I don't see the Giants doing much for the rest of the season unless it gets bad defenses without Andrew Thomas there. He is the glue of that offensive line and the glue of the offense, really, to protect Daniel Jones' blind side. Without him, the Giants scored 11 points per game without him, historically, with him out the lineup. So not a good look. So, yeah.
Wow. There you have it, KB. I haven't seen you this defeated before. I'm actually starting to feel bad. I really am. This is tough, but hopefully your Giants can find a way on Monday night. That offense for the Steelers, I know they've scored 30 the last couple of weeks, but man, that's not going to happen again on Monday night. I don't see it. The Giants defense has got to have something in the tank on Monday night. We'll see what happens. I think it's going to be closer than that. But
draft content coming soon on my channel, guys. Subscribe for draft content.
We leads too, man.
Quarterback preview. We're going first.
Right side of the screen might be getting ready for that. Hopefully you boys get it done this weekend and we can delay the draft clock.
It's rough, man.
Another week. Well, that's going to do it, fellas. The week 8 picks are locked in. If you want to lock in your picks, by the way, head over to BetUS. The promo code is YouTube150. You'll get a 150% sign-up bonus up to $2,000 on your first deposit and a 125% bonus on your next 2 deposits after that. And on your way out the door, hit the like button and subscribe button. That way you're notified of our upcoming episodes, including the Week 8 recap we have coming your way next week, where we'll talk about all the games the fellas just predicted. All righty. For Al, KB, Rio, and J Tuck, I'm your host, Z-Bot. Thanks so much for tuning in to the NFC East Roundtable, and we'll see you on the next one.